my name is Trey Brown, and in today's video, I will be talking about a preventive measure that is used in the professional league that helps players and makes them more adequate to less injuries. So, in today's video, I'll be talking about better safely and protective gear that is used for athletes. So, with modern technology now, it's been new and improved ways to make sure that players get better safety than they had before and more protective gear. And one way in how that works is in the NFL, there is something called Guardian Cap helmets. And with Guardian Cap helmets, it's basically a padded cover that goes over a standard football helmet, and it's lightweight and it has shock absorbing gear. And with this shock absorbing gear, it makes players less sustainable to concussions or head injuries or like going head first into things. It's like less severe. The force of impact is great, and it makes sure that it's less physical and like head contact that you gain when doing that. And this is just one way of how things are coming along in the sports world and how more protective gear is being put into place to help athletes better find more safety. And this is something that is starting to trend up more in making improvements within that field. And another thing that is coming along is kinesiology tape. And with kinesiology tape, that is important because most players, even when it's small injuries or anything that doesn't seem too much, you often need tape or just to make sure that your body can perform to its best of ability. So that is huge, and it's important to make sure that things are put in place to help athletes on all levels. Now, getting back to the point of NFL Guardian caps, this is similar to what I envision as something that I want to help athletes with as far as implementing better protective gear and safety measures. I like how the NFL went around with adding this and trying to improve player safety. And this is something specific in like the sports management world and like player safety, but things like that, the Guardian Cap, it doesn't just happen randomly or out of nowhere. This happens throughout continuous evaluations and evaluating player safety data and things like that. And so, over the past decade, the NFL has had concerns about concussions and long term brain injuries, as most people know as CTE. And CTE is something that is very dangerous and something that can negatively affect you for the rest of your lives. And what CTE stands for is chronic traumatic endotheliopathy. And with this condition that you have, it is hard to process things on a normal level and can make you often change your ways, have mood swings, memory loss, cognitive decline. Your mental state can be down, and things of that nature. So, anything that you can do to help prevent that is big. And so, I think with the Guardian Cap, it's important that players should understand the benefits and safety and things that are put in place to help them better. So it's great on all levels. And I want to work around that in my field, which is sports management. I want to implement a change. I want to be somebody that goes up to commissioners or league managers, even just at a local level, to try to help athletes get better preventative and safety gear. And I think it's important that players know that, the coaches, trainers, league, whatever you're in, care for their players' safety, and they want what's in their best interest and plans to help, not to harm. So I think that is going up in the way, and I like how the trend is going. And with that being said, there are some player pushbacks on the NFL Guardian Cap helmet, which was mentally put in place to help the athletes. But some players didn't like how the caps looked or felt, and others they questioned whether it would help. And there was also concerns about performance and just how much different it is between the regular NFL helmet and the Guardian Cap helmet. However, through data used by NFL data analytics, they figured out that it was 25%, around 25% less likely for you to get injuries if you wear the Guardian Cap helmet. And this was just evaluated through people that just wear the helmets, and people that were actually willing to, better themselves with that. And so it's valuable that you can accept change and go towards the right direction. And with Guardian Cap and its increases in usage, that's only beginning. That's only beginning. And I'm real excited about that because with that being said, there's going to be further technological developments. There's going to be things along the lines that will help even more than what it is now. The Guardian Cap, like I said, it's just the beginning. Until with that being put into place, it's something that inspires me and benefits me as someone who works in the sports management field to want to try to improve safety measurements and to put things in place. So it's a step in the right direction, and I like how things are going. And so it's very important that I and people, coaches, trainers, everybody emphasize having better equipment, preventive gear, and just things along that nature. And so I like the trend and where everything is going. And a stat used by the Johns Hopkins Medical Department says that over 1.75 million people in the U.S. 1.75 million people in the U.S. Get injured due to having inadequate gear due to sports injuries. And so, with that being said, it's like that's not a small number, and you wanna make sure that that number dwindles down and goes down by a good measure. And so I think it's important that on all levels people can have access to better sport equipment, protective gear. And I think it starts on the youth levels, just trying to work your way up, and or it could also start on the professional levels, see how well that works, and then you can work your way down. So there's definitely different ways in how this could work out well. And so I think that overall there needs to be more meetings held, more councils, things like that to talk about it. And I've noticed like with leagues like NFL or NBA, MLB, they've looked at things to improve player safety. Like an example of better protective gear in the MLB is like shin caps, elbow compressors, helmets that go to the left that cover your face, and things of that nature will help better prevent injuries. So it's important to make sure that everything is updated and modernized, and things like that is important. So I realize that things aren't as easy to fix, or sports injuries, stuff happens. Injuries, they're sometimes unavoidable. So sometimes it's out of your control, but what I want to do is make sure that things are best put into place through preventative gear and everything, just to try to reduce the amount of injuries that occur. And so you have to really make sure as athletes that you listen to coaches, trainers, anybody that's trying to help better you and just trying to make sure that you have better gear and things of that nature. And so I think that players listening, coaches doing more research, gaining more knowledge is vital. And I think that, it's something that shouldn't be taken lightly, and players have to understand that most coaches, trainers, everybody has things in their best interests. And I think that it comes down to players, coaches in the field understanding and try to connect on a good level so that way things can be better put into place. And with my problem being preventing more sports injuries, I've held a seminar to people. I've tried to spread out my knowledge through this YouTube channel and in different ways so that I can help inform people on the dangers of sports injuries, and just so that there can be better preventative sports measures put into place, more protective gear, just adequate research needs to be done, which I have done for this. So it's something that is coming along the lines, and I'm pretty excited about what the future holds. And I think that, better things are coming, and more protective gear, like helmets, improved helmets, pads, mouth guards, which is used in most sports, specialized protection to prevent injuries, like, just things coming along and being more modernized. And I think good things are coming. And um I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward to what the future holds. And I want to do my best to inform people of the preventative measures and things that you can do to help prevent more sports injuries, which could be proper warm up for at least 5 to 10 minutes, making sure that you have a cool down stretch in between, like your stretches. Make sure you're doing static stretches, having proper rest days, and things along that line. And so it's important that everybody realize that it's something that this topic, preventing sports injuries, is something that is greatly improving, and it takes a lot of hard work and perseverance to make sure that this goes along the right way. And I realize that this topic is greatly influential by coaches, players, like commissioners of leagues, like the major sports leagues, could do a better job advocating and giving out more accessible research and things like that. And what I also want to mention is bicycles or cycling, exercise, things like that. That may be overlooked as, there's not too much heavy contact, or there's not too much, like, you know, things where it could go wrong. But that's those two categories, exercise and bicycles and accessories, things like that, those are the leading causes for sports and recreational equipment in total, like total estimated injuries. So I think whatever you do, you have to make sure that you train best and be prepared, have protective gear, everything that's needed. So it's something that needs proper level mindedness, and something that everybody should think about, whether it be just something that doesn't involve as much contact, or something that doesn't involve a lot of, physicals, or it's a mindset thing. And with these technologies and everything coming along, being put more into place, it honestly it's something that will get get better with over time. You know, people will become more informative, even through just me making this YouTube video. People are becoming more knowledgeable about sports injuries and things of that nature. So it's important that people take time to do research of their own, try to seek out advice, and make sure that they're in the right mental when playing sports, and just understanding that things are gonna get better, and that, you know, preventing sports injuries is something that is trending upwards, and people are taking their time doing research on. And as I mentioned earlier with the NFL Guardian Cap helmets, these things, kinesiology tape, shin guards, elbow padding, like things are constantly evolving, and just getting better over time. So I really like the direction and how everything is going. So it's important. It's important to understand everything. So thanks for watching my video.